What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for TheLines.com, PlayPicks.com. Going to talk to you about the Baltimore Ravens as we head into 2021 NFL season. As always, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. Then let us know in the comment section how you're going to bet this team. This is a team that was not all that active in free agency. They did go out and try to improve that offensive line, though. They signed Kevin Zeitler to a nice big contract. They picked up Alejandro Villanueva as well for that offensive line. And then really the only other major thing they did in free agency was they brought in Sammy Watkins at wide receiver. So that's really kind of what you're looking at here. A couple offensive linemen and Sammy Watkins as far as what they did. Now, look, if we want to talk about what they did in the draft, I think they addressed a definite position of need. Listen, they bring in Sammy Watkins. Do we know what Sammy Watkins has left in the tank? We really don't. But you got Rashad Bateman in the first round, wide receiver, kind of a guy that really could be productive right off the bat here for a team that is in desperate need of a consistent receiving option for Lamar Jackson. In the first round, they had a second pick as well in the first round. They went and got a linebacker, Adafwe Owe. And in the third round, they bring in another offensive guard in Ben Cleveland, who I think is probably end up being more depth, but could be a guy that is that's going to be, at least in the rotation or something like that. Third round, also corner Brandon Stevens. In the fourth round, they actually brought in another wide receiver as well, drafted another wide receiver as well, and Tylan Wallace. So if we look at this team and where they sit, listen, we know they were 11-5 last season. Now, a little bit deceptive whenever we say that they were 11-5 because they closed out the season with wins over the Cowboys without Dak Prescott, the Giants, the Bengals, and then the Jaguars. Jaguars were 1-15. The Bengals were 4-11-1. The Giants and Cowboys were both 6-10 on the season. So closed out one of the easiest, if not the easiest, schedules in all of the NFL. But you look, and here we sit. To win the whole thing, they are one of the very favorites, 14-1 to win the Super Bowl, are the Baltimore Ravens. If we look at the conference over here, they are only behind the Bills and the Chiefs, 6.5-1 to win the AFC for this team that was 11th DVOA in offense last season, 9th in defense. So they were right up there, really, really good. ESPN has them ranked as the 5th best roster in all of the NFL as we head into this season. So they didn't really have to be all that active in free agency because the roster was already really good. If we look at this division, probably one of the most hotly contested divisions out there, this Ravens and Browns right here. 115 on the Ravens, 150 on the Browns. We don't think the Bengals are going to do anything, and I think the Steelers are going to take a big step back this season, but they are 4.5-1 within this division. But the favorite are the Ravens, sitting at plus 115. Sharp Football has them as the 12th toughest schedule in all the NFL, however. So the schedule certainly doesn't line up to be favorable to them this year, at least on paper as we enter 2021. He does have them forecasted over at Sharp Football at 11 wins. And so with that, you can see that's exactly where the win total sits right now. If you want the under 11, it's actually juiced a little bit on the under. If you want the over, you're getting even money. If we look at Pro Football Focus, they actually have them projected at 9.8 wins, and they have the under hitting at 69% of the time. That said, they do have them rated as the 4th ranked power rated team heading into the season. So the simulations and then what they have just from their ratings don't necessarily jive. 5.5% chance to win the Super Bowl. If you look at this offensive line, it's the 12th rated offensive line in all of the NFL heading into 2021. They get Ronnie Staley back healthy. He only played 312 snaps last season. They traded for Orlando. They traded Orlando Brown to the Chiefs, but they signed Alejandro Villanueva. So while you lose Orlando Brown, you bring in Villanueva to plug that gap. Zeitler is a really, really good offensive lineman as well. Bradley Bozeman is a guy that's going to slide over to center. He's been playing guard, but he's going to slide over to center, and that should work out really well for them as well. And that's why you're kind of seeing a team here that with a good offensive line, with a bunch of returning starters, with Lamar Jackson, so, you would think taking another step forward, you have them to make the playoffs at minus 300. So you'd have to lay $300 to $100 for the Ravens to make the playoffs, and the no at plus 225. Where they're really going to need to step up is his defensive line. They lost his 2 best pass rushers in the offseason, which can be huge. Yannick Ngakoue is gone. Matt Judon is gone as well. Now, they do have Calais Campbell and Brandon Williams and Derek Wolfe, and they're all good run stuffers, but they need to figure out how they're going to pressure the quarterback. And so they're thinking Owe, their draft pick, might be a guy that could be the solution there. It could be an answer in getting some pressure on a quarterback. But as we know, pressure is key. Pressure is very, very big and more important really than even sacks are, because the pressure shows how often you're getting there and how often you even have a chance to get a sack on a guy. If we come down here and we look at this schedule, you can see it is not all that favorable, and you can certainly see why they have the 12th toughest schedule here. Now, in a passing league, it's good to have a really good secondary, and this team has a very good secondary. Actually, the second-rated secondary by Pro Football Focus heading into the season is this Baltimore Ravens team. Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters are studs. We know that for sure. Tavon Young, they got Chuck Clark, they got Deshaun Elliott. Those are all solid contributors there in the secondary. So in a passing league against teams where, look, you're going to play the Chiefs, you're going to play the Chargers, you're going to play the Bengals, who, by the way, are just, going to be slinging the ball all over the place. Come down a little bit further, the Browns probably going to throw a little bit more this year than they have in years past. Get those Browns 2 times in 3 weeks. Packers, Aaron Rodgers now back for the team. Of course, we already talked about the Bengals, and then the Rams with Matthew Stafford as well. So going to place a lot of teams that can sling the ball, but they got a really good secondary with all that. Guys, if I was making a bet on this team, however, I got to be honest with you, I would not be playing the division here. I actually like the Browns in this division at plus 150. I don't like the Ravens as much. I think the Browns take a really, really big step forward this year. So I don't like the Ravens here. And I got to be honest with you, I kind of agree with the fact that it's juiced to the under on 11. I mean, I think the most likely scenario is dead on 11. But that's like a best case scenario type situation, right? Like we know how the NFL plays out. I mean, people get hurt, things go sideways. And so I actually like kind of the under here. Remember, 17 game season, so it would be an 11-6 record. If it landed right on the number here, you'd be looking for a 10-7 if it was not going to be the case. But again, I think the Browns are going to be much, much stronger this year. You saw those other games that are going to be really, really tough. The Chiefs, best team in the NFL, question mark, maybe the Bucs, but the Chiefs on here as well. We expect a big step forward from the Chargers this season as well. You look down here, Big Ben claims to be back. He claims to be healthy. So you have tough games against the Steelers. Again, I'm high on the Browns. You got the Packers with Aaron Rodgers, and then you have the Rams with Matthew Stafford. I mean, this schedule is pretty brutal, actually, when you look up and down. And so that's why I'm kind of leaning towards the under here. If I were to make a bet on this, on this team, I got to be honest with you, it should be the under on 11, and that's about it. I can't bet them to win the Super Bowl. I don't think if I don't like them to win the division. If I think the Browns. That being said, if you wanted to lay the 300, depending on how your bankroll works, I do think 2 teams can come out of this division. So even if the Browns win the division, I do think that would put the Ravens still in a really, really good spot to get a wild card bid. So depending on the size of your bankroll, I do like the Ravens to make the playoffs. I just don't like them to win that division. I do like a little bit on the under here, though. Like I said, I think 11 is probably right where this thing is going to land. Guys, if you head over here, again, free betting guide, and actually a free betting guide for every team in the NFL. Just click that little NFL tab up here at the top of the lines, and then bam, get a free betting guide for every single team that is out there. And while you're here, as we said, go ahead and subscribe. Everything is absolutely free. You'll be the first to know. Thumbs up this video. And then also let us know in the comments, what do you think about this team? Do you think that they take a massive leap? Do you think they take a step back? What do you think, how they match up against the Browns? What do you think of that win total of 11? What do you think of that tough schedule that they've got? Love to hear from you in the comments, and good luck on all your bets here in 2021.